It's meant to be the culmination of cooperative politics, but an agreement to expand Tasmania's parliament isn't only raising the ire of a public suspicious about the need for more politicians. Questions have been raised about the cost and the future size of the state's upper house.
The Premier gave time for a grassroots meeting in Hobart's northern suburbs. He's far less concerned about gaining community support for an expanded parliament.
2/3 of the parliament went to the 2010 election on a platform of 35 seats.
Despite yesterday's signatures by the state's 3 political leaders, the consensus for 10 extra MPs isn't total. And it's not just talkback radio callers.
It's not a decision that members of parliament ought to be making without proper inquiry and proper rigorous consideration of what the options might be.
Legislation will need upper house approval, and some legislative councillors believe that chamber's numbers should also be increased. The council's president is happy with the current 15 members.
We don't have the mandate that the Liberals and the Greens went to the election with. We have, in my opinion, no rationale that the House isn't working well.
Wages and allowances alone for 10 extra MPs will top $2 million.
The government needs to have a really good look at the swag of advisors that it's got running around.
David Bartlett won't speculate on the cost, but he is predicting a minority future.
I believe that minority government in Tasmania will be the norm for at least the next decade.
Cooperation between the 3 parties does have its limits, with criticism of the Greens State Conference this weekend. Keynote speeches aside, the event will be closed to the media and the public.
We feel an obligation to preserve the privacy of members attending this meeting, as well as to preserve the privacy of our internal workings.
That's despite the party's increased power and in contrast to the largely open Liberal and Labor conferences.
The Greens are the great hypocrites. They campaign for transparency, they campaign for accountability, but when it comes to actually delivering it, they run a mile.
But Labor's true believers don't get a forum this year. The party's state conference was abandoned because of the federal election. Simon Frazer, ABC News.